Welcome to this episode of Bad Boy Buggy's Garage. I'm Alan Hitt.
And I'm Ashley Helton.
On this episode, we're going to walk you through the proper parking brake adjustment procedure. This is an important service interval to use in case your buggy is not being held tightly while the parking brake is engaged.
And I'm going to show you how to bleed your brakes in case you encounter a soft pedal or low brake pedal pressure. Before we get started, we're going to follow all the safety recommendations as outlined in your service manual. To begin, let's loosen off on the park brake knob. Let's lift the buggy so that we can begin our adjustment.
Now that we have the vehicle safely lifted in the air and we have the knob on the park brake handle loosened, we want to locate the parking brake adjustment screws on each side of the rear calipers. We want to start by loosening up the 13mm hex around 10 turns. You then want to take the parking brake adjustment screw, which is a 6mm, and you want to turn that in until it stops. When it stops, this is actually this stop rod making contact with the back side of the piston inside of the caliper. You then want to take the parking brake stop rod and you want to turn it off one full turn. Then you want to lock down the 13mm hex. Throughout this process, you want to make sure that the 13mm hex does not make contact with the back side of this bracket, because then you'll actually be adjusting it incorrectly.
While we had the buggy in the air and needed to bleed the system anyway, we decided to remove the brake pads. Take a look at the wear indicator line to determine if you need pad replacement. If you do, contact Bad Boy Buggy Service Parts, order part number 616450. Take a look at these pads periodically because this is an off-road application and they're subject to dirt, mud, and debris.
Now we're going to transition over to bleeding the brake system. In order to access the bleeder screws, we need to remove all four wheels from the vehicle.
The first thing we're going to do to bleed the brakes is make sure the master cylinder's got plenty of clean, fresh .3 brake fluid. The master cylinder needs to have some fluid added, so I'm going to go ahead and transfer some fluid from this larger container into something smaller I can handle. This needs to be checked frequently throughout the bleeding process. You don't want the fluid to go low in the master cylinder, otherwise we have to start the process all over again.
We're going to go ahead and pump the brake pedal a couple of times to go ahead and get an initial pressure built up within the system. You want to do this around 2 to 3 times before opening up any of the bleed screws.
We're going to start the bleed process at the right rear corner. While Alan pumps up the pedal, I'm going to ask him to hold pressure on it. I'm going to then open up the bleeder screw. We should see a steady stream of fluid come out the tube. That lets us know that all the air is out of the line. We may have to do this several times to make sure that the system is free of air. In the meantime, capture all wasted fluid so that we can be conscientious of our environment. We're going to repeat the process on the left rear caliper. Then we'll move to the right front and then the left front. Pump it up, Alan. Hold it down. All right, pump it up again. Hold it down.
Alright, so we've gotten the parking brake adjusted at the rear calipers according to the manufacturer's specification.
And we've got the brakes bled.
The final thing that we need to do is to adjust the parking brake handle, get a good firm feel on the handle, and then take it out for a test drive.
We'll see you next time on Bad Boy Buggy's Garage.